Are you ready to stop riding the emotional elevator of life? Are you ready to learn how to elevate your emotions that keep you psychologically traumatized or in an addictive behavior? You are in the right place. Here is your host, Sandee Byrd, trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach of the Emotional Elevator Show.
Well, welcome everyone. I am Sandee Byrd. I am 55 and I am the host of Emotional Elevator. And that's what tonight's topic is all about is 55 and I love myself. Yes, it's taken many years to really embrace and love myself, but I do. So that's what tonight's show is about. And I really meant to get myself a magic wand for my 55th birthday. And I completely forgot. So maybe by apology next week, I'll have my wand. So right before my 55th birthday, I had a little mishap. I sprained my ankle, and it's happened every milestone birthday for me. 50, I had the flu. I had the flu on my 50th birthday. I got off a cruise ship, met my brother in Miami, went on a cruise with friends, not any of my family, and I got off the boat and I had the flu. And I realized after having the flu and now even having a severe sprain for my 55th birthday, that we could take that as a sign of woe was me, but I took it as a sign as I'm alive. And maybe sometimes for my birthday, it should be about me just slowing down and just being. But my birthday for me has been based around trauma. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this on my emotional elevator, but I think I did when Christine interviewed me. My first birthday, my mom had the car packed, my dad met at my grandparents' house, and my parents split up at my first birthday party. My second, my parents got a divorce. So for me, I've never really cared a lot about my birthday because of family drama. And every time my mom would celebrate my birthday or do something special, I always wondered, was she doing it for me or was she doing it because she was celebrating not being around my father? So I always struggled with that. And a lot of now I'm can go back and look at some of my big birthdays. Something has happened and it's made me question me. And for years, and I'm telling you, for years, and even around my 50th birthday, I have not really enjoyed my birthday. And some of the reasons is the month of February, I have lost key players in my life. Not the good key players in my life. Some of so let me just say that my first husband, my kid's father, passed away February 1st, 9 years ago. My mother passed away February 28th, 7 years ago. My stepmother passed away 5 years ago when I turned 50 on February 11th. Okay. I'm 55. My birthday is February 9th. So for me, even after that one coming with the flu, it really, I struggled with my birthday because I never really cared about celebrating it for a lot of reasons. And because I was always expecting everybody else to fill up my cup for me. So that's kind of what my whole philosophy is now. It's not up to anybody. Like being around before my birthday, girlfriends of mine, and I was having a talk with all of them, and they were talking about their birthdays and how one of them turned 60, a client, and another one was turning, and she was saying, yeah, they better do this for me, they better do that. Why? And I think about something I've always wanted. I've always wanted, that surprise party. I did it for my mother. But I still remember when I threw, I'm gonna say it was her 50th birthday, I threw her a surprise party and she criticized every single thing. Then I remember one time my first husband trying to plan something and we didn't have the money. So what did I do? I criticized every single thing. And then being in these women's groups and having clients, and then they talk about, yeah, well, my daughter or my husband or somebody threw me the surprise party and it wasn't what I wanted. So why do we expect everybody to do everything for us? Why don't we just do it for ourselves? So that's kind of what I realized I would rather do and plan for myself or plan nothing, and be happy with it. Why do we always expect everybody to do everything for us? And then when they don't do it how we want it or don't do it, we get all upset. So when are we going to take our own control of our own lives and everything like that? Because I already said, like my 50th birthday, I was on a cruise ship with friends, with it was four of us. We all worked together and we went on a cruise ship together. Did we have our ups and downs? Yeah. But I still did what I wanted to do and I came home with the flu. And ever since then, and as I've fully engaged how I want my emotions to be joyful and happy and what brings joy in my life, I decided I am no longer going to wait for that surprise party that might end up disappointing me. I've already said that for my 60th, I'm going to plan a party for myself. And yeah, everyone can do it, whatever. But you never know. 60, I might just say, you know what? I'm going to fly to the moon because maybe by then we can fly to the moon. But that's the thing. And then, yes, was it disappointing to realize it was Tuesday, birthday Friday? I sprained my ankle bad. I was in the urgent care for 2 hours. I'm sitting there and I'm laughing. I'm like going, it would only be me. And I'm laughing. And this doctor comes in and goes, what's so funny? And I'm like, it would only be me that would sprain their ankle 3 days before their 55th birthday. And he's like, oh, why? What did you have planned? Well, I was going to jump out of an airplane. I was going to. No, I wasn't. But I still had fun because what did I do? I got to do what I wanted to do. And that's what this topic is all about, is just loving yourself and loving life so much that you set aside. I understand some religions now why they don't celebrate birthdays because we put so much emphasis on what is everyone else going to do for me? What is everyone else going to buy for me? What is everyone else going to do for me? Because why can't I do it for myself? Why can't I bring joy within myself? And that's kind of been a big thing, a big theme for me over the last year is letting go of the holiday commercialization, letting go of filling up everybody's cups around the holidays. Why not just filling our own cups up? And that's kind of what is going on with me. And that's why, as I work with more clients and they talk a lot about, well, nobody did this for my birthday. And I hinted about I wanted this and I hinted about this. Well, why didn't you buy it yourself? Why didn't you do for yourself? If you really wanted to go to eat meat, Greek food, go eat Greek food. That's what we did. Because guess what? That's what I wanted to do. And I kind of had to separate a little bit because not everyone could get together. And that was fine for me because I was okay with that. Because guess what? I got to spread it out. How great was that to be able to spread it out versus let me get everyone together Let me deal with everybody's different jives, attitudes. Why not just, I got to celebrate me multiple times because not everyone could get together. And then it was great because I got one-on-one time. I got one-on-one time with the people I love. And everyone got something they wanted. They got time and joy and laughter because a lot of times, and I hear this all the time. Oh yeah, well, we had to plan it, or because I planned it on this date, this child couldn't come, or this child couldn't. Well, why did you try to plan something when you knew, like, well, my son always works on a Saturday night. Not true. But if they work this, well, they should plan around me. I did it for them all their life. But think about it. Why not plan for yourself? Like, and I think that's what I enjoy about my marriage now is whatever you want, honey, buy it for you. Because I know if I try to buy it, even though he does a great job when it comes to jewelry, but I don't want jewelry anymore. I've got a lot of jewelry. Um, I'm not bragging in any sense, but he does very well with jewelry. But at the same sense, I kind of don't want the jewelry thing anymore. I want something different, maybe a new picture for my office, or maybe something new in our house or something. And I remember him about a year ago saying, just buy yourself something. If you want, get it wrapped and open it up in front of everybody. And that's what's been really joyful for me and what brings joy to me because I am liberated to do what I want and not expect everybody to do for me and not expect everyone to get upset. And I want to say it was last year, my daughter did the cutest thing and it really brought joy to me. It was last year. She got in touch with, I think it was just one of my stepdaughters, but she got in touch with friends of mine, people I know, and she made a collage for me for a happy birthday. And that was so joyful because it was just something random. It was a random act of kindness. And that's what this is about, is when we really start embracing, letting go of the expectations of what we have been conditioned, expectations of what we've been conditioned you know, that you go to this one great surprise party and then they come and they go, oh, I hate surprises. And then you actually see them a little bit miserable. And then you see them start turning around because, oh, yeah, well, all my friends are here. I don't want to be miserable, but I hate being surprised because this wasn't da 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 da. Or someone's there and they didn't realize you were in a fight with them. Or these people are there and you really didn't want them there. So it's getting around that, but it's that whole thought of sometimes it's better to do for ourselves, especially if we expect it. But here's the thing. A lot of times when someone's doing a good act of kindness, like planning a surprise party or doing something of a surprise for you, and it's not what we wanted, so we feel disappointed. To me, I've learned a lot in my life and in the last few years. Why aren't we happy when someone just does something special for us or gives us a special gift that they might have put their energy, their heart, their soul in because we might have wanted something else? Because then you'll learn that they might want to not do for you. But it's just enjoying getting to the point in your life. And I really think it's being over 50 where we start to let go Let go of those layers of expectations and layers of, oh, it's not happened for me, so it's not going to happen, or they never buy me the great gift. Because when you start thinking that way, they never are, because you are putting that on there, on that spin on it. Oh my goodness, it's already time for our first break tonight. Of course, I am Sandee, the host of Emotional Elevator, and tonight's topic is about 50 and a loving life. Like, I actually enjoy my life. And I don't know if it's over 50 or if it's just all the changes that I've made in my life to stop expecting and doing for myself. So we're going to go to our first break. And when we come back, there's another holiday that came up that I want to dive into too. So thank you for joining me tonight.
Are you living a life of psychological trauma or suffering from an addiction? Are you ready to learn new techniques to elevate your emotions without sustaining or obtaining them from substances that are not good for your mind or body? Then continue to tune into Emotional Elevator with trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach, Sandee Byrd, where you will learn techniques to elevate your emotions that don't require a magic pill, food, or impulsive behavior. Listen to Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to sandy@emotionalelevator.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back. As I was talking, I had some didn't have any more expectations around my birthday and what I expected, but planning for myself is more joyful because I know if I plan, it's everything I want to do. But also, before my birthday, only I would sprain my ankle when I had certain plans, but it's letting go. It's also letting go and then inviting in those that helped me and those that were like, what can I do for you? Knowing that I had to stay off my feet for a couple of days. And that kind of was already, you know, in my mind, setting me back, but it wasn't. It was actually inviting in people to come in and kind of dote on me. And that was wonderful. But I don't think I said. Again, thank you for joining me tonight on Emotional Elevator. I am Sandee Byrd. But another holiday seemed to creep in after my birthday that always, to me, there's so much hoopla around. Of course, if I've not mentioned before, I've been in before I went back into coaching after not doing social work, which is what I went to college for, but becoming a restaurant manager and a retail manager for years. Valentine's Day. I started hating Valentine's Day. Boy, did you see that in my face? If you didn't see it, hopefully you heard it in my voice. Because we put so much emphasis on it, and it's usually a little bit, I hate to say, one-sided. It's more geared towards the female. And why is that? Why is there so much expectation on buying these beautiful roses, buying this lavish candy for her. Shouldn't this holiday be an equal opportunity enjoyment? Wow, I like that. Equal opportunity enjoyment, EOE, equal opportunity enjoyment. Because my husband and I, since my birthday falls 5 days before Valentine's Day, that's it, my birthday. But it's now not expecting and letting go of that has brought us closer together and more joy, because the expectation around my birthday and Valentine's Day, I never really expected a lot from that, because being in the old industry I was in, I always worked for Valentine's Day. Why? Number one, because I could make more money when I was in the restaurants. If I was managing and I could pick up a table, I got to keep the tips. Or even in retail, sometimes I worked. And it was so that that expectation or that feeling I always felt with having 3 children, a husband, I always felt already over obligated. So when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to work, it was a load off of me. But then I realized, you know what? Why don't I just live it the way I want to live it? Enjoy what I want to enjoy. Because here's the thing, and this is what, in some senses, has to do with a lot of the commercialization of holidays, is we also overindulge on Valentine's Day to our children. So then they get in these relationships and they have these expectations that are so high. And those expectations that are so high ends up affecting their relationships in the long run. Because think about that. If they're kids and, we're buying them all these candy and all these gifts, and our daughters were buying them roses and all this, when they end up in a relationship, they end up with that high expectation. And that is a big thing with me when it comes to doing that for children and stuff, because now they get into a relationship and their spouse or something, they don't do it. Now they end up disappointed. And we are overcompensating when it comes to a holiday that is meant, basically, St. Valentine, for lovers. So we're putting these facades on, we've got to fill up everybody's cup. When you can fill up your own cup and bring your own joy, it's a wonderful feeling. And that's why with my clients and in my self-class that will be coming up soon for me, and will be coming up again soon, what am I saying? Will be coming up again soon because I already started it, is that expectation of expecting somebody else to give to you. Why don't you give to yourself? And also, for those out there, what's wrong with buying yourself the candies? Not the discount candies the day after. What's wrong with buying yourself the candies you like? What's wrong with buying yourself flowers? Because we put so much emphasis on somebody else needs to give you flowers. What's wrong with buying the flowers you really want? And if you're single, why not take yourself out to lunch or dinner? Why not buy yourself those flowers? I remember, gosh, it's been a few years ago, when I was still part-time management in retail, I decided on Valentine's Day to buy all the single women roses. And I said, next year, I want to see you buy yourself your own rose. And that was to the widows or the single women, because I always wanted to teach them, what is wrong with you being your own Valentine? I'm my own Valentine. I overindulge myself. Sometimes now I take the day off and enjoy. This past week, I did some things for me. I did some things that I wanted to do around my birthday, but I couldn't do because of what happened before my birthday, like a pedicure, manicure. I wanted that. I had that appointment, and then I sprained my ankle, and I did not want to go and have anyone try to jerk on my foot, move my foot, anything like that. So what did I do? Instead, I waited, and that was my Valentine's gift to myself. Because there's certain things I wanted to do for myself for my birthday that I enjoyed doing. And then I ended up being able to give it to myself for Valentine's Day because I wasn't going to enjoy it. And it's just that. And that's what I teach my clients is when you're already like, well, he never does this for me. He never does that. He's not going to, because I already listened to the way you talk about it. Why not do it for yourself? Why do we feel we need somebody else to do for us when we can easily do for ourselves? And we'll buy the ones we really want. And some people say, yeah, but I don't want to spend that kind of money on myself. Why not? Because guess what? Who's going to smile bigger? Something you got for yourself? Because that's what you wanted. But here's the other thing. When it comes to, and I have to say, I was one of those where I got something sometimes that I didn't like. Why didn't I just be happy with just getting something? And that's another thing. Why sometimes are we so critical because it's not what we wanted when we can buy it for ourselves, that when somebody does give us something, we're like, oh, thank you. But just think if you turn that around and went, wow, someone gave me that, or he went out and he got that. Because let me tell you something. Since COVID hit, my husband does not like to go into a store. He does not like to go into a grocery store. He will go into the gas station. That's it. So when he goes in and he gets me something, it's a joyous occasion. I will dance around. I will show so much love because I know he doesn't like that. I know he doesn't like going and getting something that I really enjoy. Or think about this. Someone takes you to the restaurant that's not one of your favorite restaurants, but they still took you there. That's not what you wanted to do. The next day, take yourself, but be joyous and be happy with that, because that's a lot of what I try to teach my clients is sometimes it shouldn't be about what was given or what was done. It should be just that it was done. And if it's not what you wanted, then plan it for yourself. So I recently had a client, and I probably should wait until my next break to give you a little bit of suspense, but it was something that we had a conversation about. So I think that's what I'll do. We'll go to a break maybe, and then I'll give you the suspense, but it's all about having these conversations with clients about filling your own cup. Don't expect everybody around you to fill up your cup. You fill up your cup. Because you know what? When you fill up your cup, you're filling it up with the best. Because think about it. If you're filling your own cup up, you're filling it up with what you choose to fill it up, which you're wanting to fill it up. So we are going to go to that break. I am Sandee Byrd, the host of Emotional Elevator. We're going to go to that break, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you about one of my clients and a conversation that we had wrapped around birthday and Valentine's Day. But we're going to go to the break first. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Are you living a life of psychological trauma or suffering from an addiction? Are you ready to learn new techniques to elevate your emotions without sustaining or obtaining them from substances that are not good for your mind or body? Then continue to tune into Emotional Elevator with trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach, Sandee Byrd, where you will learn techniques to elevate your emotions that don't require a magic pill food, or impulsive behavior. Listen to Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to sandy@emotionalelevator.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. I am Sandee Byrd, the host of Emotional Elevator. I've been talking tonight about 55 and loving life. And then I started talking about Valentine's Day and how great it is to myself do for me, but then also letting go of the expectations of letting go of expectations of someone not giving you what you really want, and just enjoying and bringing that joy into your life because they gave you something. So that's what I was talking about. And then before the break, I said I wanted to mention a conversation I had with one of my clients. So this client was all about, oh, I'm single this Valentine's, and, the kind of that woe is me. And I said, okay, I'm going to challenge you, because I do a challenge when I teach self classes. And I challenged her and I said, I want you to buy something for somebody or do a random act of kindness for somebody on Valentine's Day. If you see somebody looks like they're having a bad day, buy them something wherever you're at. And then I want you to really go out to eat by yourself. Valentine's Day, day after, day before, lunch, whatever, do it. So this person did, and she's a client of mine. And she was in a store, a little store. I don't think it was the gas station or whatever. And she said she saw this girl and she obviously was upset, and she went up and she talked to her. And trust me, this client is not one of those people that is going to approach you if you're sad or something. She's going to be the one that runs out the door and goes, oh my gosh, I don't want to get involved. But she took my advice and she went up to the person and she found out the boyfriend was cheating because flowers got sent to each of them wrong. Get what I'm saying? She got I'm just going to make up names here. I'm just going to do this. She got Mandy's flowers and she's Sandy, and Sandy got Mandy's flowers and she's Sandy. You get the point? So then the confrontation came and they ended up meeting each other because they ended up approaching at the same time. So she was distraught. So my client went ahead and bought her, I forget what it was, something. I'm not going to get into all the details. And it brought her up and she's like, I just want to do this for you because I learned that we don't have to rely on other people to fill our cups up. She gave her all this advice. And she also told her who I was and anything, but I haven't heard from this person. But I'm just letting you know that a client really, and she said, she texted me later. Well, she texted me a couple of days later, but it really meant everything to her that she did this for somebody else. Like she said, I felt love. I felt like I brought joy to somebody in a bad moment. She goes, so it filled my cup up because I did for somebody else. And that's when I said, all these times when someone does something for us and we don't necessarily like it, but you did something just to be kind, and look how it made you feel. So what if we reevaluated and did that for ourselves? Then, this is what even is a kicker. She says, and then I did what you told me to do, and I went out. I didn't go out on Valentine's, but I went out the next day. And she said she went to this restaurant. It's a good restaurant here where I live. And she went to the bar, and there was ladies at this table, and they were having a friend time, I think it was called, whatever she said. And they invited her over there. And one of them had walked up, and some conversation, not going to get into all of it because then that would take up the last part of my show. But anyway, conversation started. She goes, yeah, well, my coach told me, to go out and take myself out to eat for Valentine's and enjoy myself and whatever. And they said, oh, we're doing the same thing. And they ended up becoming friends. And she goes, and actually, we're all going out and going to see a movie together. She says, she would have done it. But if I wouldn't have encouraged her to do that, she might not have met these friends. She goes, I don't know where this is going to go. I had a great time with them that night. We're all going to go to a movie. I don't know where this could go. Might not go anywhere. But it made me feel good. And I'm like, see, what is wrong with stepping a little bit out of our comfort zone and stepping out of, see what normal is, what we expect, drop those expectations and just do something out of the ordinary. And she felt so good and so much more loved because she did something for somebody else. She brought joy to somebody in a bad moment on Valentine's. And she ended up going out and meeting these other women that she had a connection with. So her cup was filled by herself, but it was also filled with joy and happiness. And she didn't sit at home, and she didn't just walk away from somebody, but by doing for somebody else, she filled her cup up, but also by adventuring out and not sitting at home and doing the woe is me, which she would normally do, she actually met friends. So that's what I'm saying. And I don't know where you're listening to me from. You could be listening to me anywhere in the world, but there's many groups out there. And that's what I've been talking to some of my single clients who are getting out of bad marriages or bad relationships and have a lot of trauma, is there are so many groups out there. There are so many groups. Right here in Virginia, and I know this is a lot in the United States, there's meetup groups. And all you got to do is plug in. I'm part of some meetup groups here where you just plug in certain things, like I like sewing, or I like knitting, or I like meditating, or I like walking, or I like hiking. And you can get into all these groups and you end up being around people that are like-minded. And it's just taking the step out. It doesn't mean you're lonely. It doesn't mean anything. It's letting go of what sometimes we put on ourselves as to why we have to sit in it. And I think that's what this was so much about for me to talk about this, being 55 and, being 55 in February, 5 days before Valentine's Day, and just doing for me. Yes, I am happily married, but I think I'm more happily married now because I let go of the expectations, and I let go of setting a standard. I let go of setting a bar. Just let go and enjoy whatever comes, enjoy whatever happens, and just live life. Love, live life, enjoy. Because letting go of what is expected and what I want others to do for me, having 3 of my own kids, 3 step kids, and expecting them to do for me for my birthday, and knowing that all of them are not going to want the same for me, why don't I just do for me? Same thing with Valentine's Day. When I met my husband now, he set the bar so high. He was probably not going to be able to continually keep that bar up so high. So when I decided, you know what? Let's stop putting that bar up there. Let's just be. Let's just enjoy sitting at home on Valentine's Day night. If we both had a long day, enjoy a meal together, prepared by me, and just sit in the house with no expectations. That has been one of the best gifts that I've been able to give myself and give my husband and give my family, is just letting go. But also, when I was out on the 14th, not the 14th, was it the 17th? 17th. That was the Acts of Kindness Day. To be able to do acts of kindness for people, just random people, and them not really know, but just to lighten someone's day. Have you ever thought about doing that? And it doesn't have to be someone who looks like they're depressed. It doesn't have to be someone, but just buy the person's coffee in line in front of you. Buy the person behind you's lunch. Buy the person next to you's lunch. Have you ever been somewhere and just done something nice for somebody? You're in a grocery store. Somebody near you has like 3 items, maybe $15. You know what? I'm going to take care of that. Just pass it along. That is what brings more joy to me, is to be able to bring happiness to other people. To be able to do for other people brings me more joy. Was I ever like this? Was I ever like this? Yes. A lot of my life, yes, I was. I wanted to help people. That's always been part of my nature. And I realized that by sometimes bringing joy to other people brings more joy to me. And by not expecting something when someone does something nice. Like, I was that person. I was one time riding through a Starbucks before I stopped going to Starbucks. And the person in front of me, I was just jamming to a song, and I'm just jamming in my car. And the actual guy in front of me paid for my coffee. And I think I got a breakfast sandwich or whatever. And he paid for it. And they said he just loved the energy he could see in my car because I was dancing and singing. And the funny part is, then I paid for the people behind me. And then I went somewhere else and I paid for somebody else. And I'm not saying like go pay for everybody's stuff, but that whole day I felt joyous within myself. Because did I expect anyone, because I was jamming in my car to a song and just, enjoying my day? Did I expect someone to do that for me? No. But I probably brought joy to somebody, and they also brought joy to me, and then I passed the joy on. If we could just do that a lot more, just think how much more lighter, then not feel like we'd be walking lighter on ourselves. And that's what tonight was about with this show with me is, and maybe it is because I'm over 50, but as I realized at 50, as I've stated, I do have a mother-in-law that's 100 years old. I'm 55. I still could have 40 years left, because I'm not going to live by my family's timeline, because then I don't have 40 years. I don't even want to tell you how many years I got. I don't even have half that. If I live by my family's timeline. But if I live by my own timeline and let go of my own expectations, we could live 40 more years, 45 more years. And how much happier would life be? And how much more joy can I bring to other people's life by just letting go and doing things for myself instead of expecting others to do for me? And also, when someone wants to do something for me, not looking for that underlying reason. Because that's sometimes what we do, is when someone does something nice, well, why are they doing that for me? Why not just say thank you? and move on. Or I hinted about what I wanted for my birthday. This is the biggest conversation I have. I hinted what I want for my birthday. I even clipped it out of a magazine, or every time the commercial came on, I said, oh, I'd really like that. Or I keep hinting about us going on this fabulous trip because we can do it now, we can afford to, and I never do it. Well, why don't you plan it? It's letting go of that. Well, I just want this, or, why don't my kids show me appreciation by throwing me a birthday party? Because maybe your kids feel like if they don't do it the right way, they'll be criticized. Or maybe that one time that you said, that's not what I wanted, that's all they think about. So just let go of that. And if you want to plan yourself, if you want a surprise party, plan it, and don't call it a surprise party. Call it come to my birthday celebration. Because that is the biggest thing that I work with all my clients on, is the expectations we put on, especially, and I'm saying this, especially mothers who have raised children. And I'm not saying everyone, because I'm not in that category, that they in turn feel that it's their children's obligation to throw them a party because they threw them 18 birthday parties, or how many ever birthday parties. So they expect, now I've raised you, I expect you to throw it for me. Didn't someone throw you some birthday parties maybe? So just let that go. And think about, you've got to also sometimes think about the other person. So my husband was brought up around, birthdays weren't a big thing. They were just another day. His mom sometimes made you a cake, or they bought a cake, or his dad, who, was in the food industry, brought home something special, but it wasn't made a big deal. Whereas some of my life, it was made a big deal, very big deal. But now I sit back and I think, was it really for me, or was it to celebrate a divorce? Was it to celebrate not being with my father? So there's that catch-22. Someone's not going to do for you what was not done for them, because they don't know that. So do it for yourself and be happy. Or plan the surprise party, but make it still a surprise, because you can do that. But let go of what is expected. And if somebody does something nice for you, thank you. And let that be joyful, even if it isn't what you want. Because let me tell you something, I have seen this time and time again, and they even show it on TV shows all the time, where you get a gift you don't like and you re-gift it. That was a free gift for somebody else. Wow, someone gave me an owl, but Sandee's the one who has the spirit owl. So, hey, I now got Sandee's next gift. Think about that. But I don't want to hurt their feelings. Then don't hurt their feelings. But it's when we go, wow, thank you. How do you think that person feels? Especially if it's a loved one, or someone who might have really spent a lot of time thinking about this gift to give to you, and it might not be what you wanted. Then go buy it yourself and bring that joy within yourself. But think about that person that you don't know. They might have ran into the dollar store and grabbed it, but they still got it because they were still thinking of you. And it brought them joy in that moment to give to you. So in return, just accept it with joy, because they had joy in the moment. And even if it's a re-gift, someone gave it to them that gave them that joy, and now they're in turn giving you that joy. And even if it is a gift you gave them and they're giving it back to you, maybe you bought it because you really wanted it back. So think about that. Why do we put so much emphasis on everybody else doing for us instead of us just doing for ourselves? Or how does it feel when we do for somebody else and they don't enjoy it? And then when we do it, it's okay. So that's what tonight's episode was all about, is talking about that love and joy and how you can do for yourself, especially around big holidays, birthdays, Valentine's Day. Do for you. And it's something I challenge whenever I'm teaching a self class. You can always reach out to me, Sandee at emotionalelevator.com, or IamSandeeByrd.com, or SandeeByrdCoach@gmail. You can reach out to me. If you want to work with me and be challenged on how can I live my best life? How can I bring joy into my life? What are the tools and strategies that in some of my episodes I've talked a lot about? What do I do to work with my clients? But I challenge them. I give them exercises to do for themselves. Because going out to eat, when you're in a marriage or when you're a mom or something, sometimes you go where it's convenient. Sometimes you go places where other people want to go. And sometimes you're the one setting such strong boundaries and your friend really likes to go. I'll say this, my husband loves Cracker Barrel. Not a huge fan, but I go because that brings him joy. But then he'll go where I want to go. That brings me joy. And that's what I'm saying. Go and just enjoy the person. Doesn't have to be the object or whatever it is. But then do for yourself. If there is a restaurant you really want to go to that nobody else wants to go to, go. There is nothing wrong with taking yourself out to dinner. There is nothing wrong with buying yourself that gift. There is nothing wrong with buying something for somebody else that you don't even know. And there's nothing wrong with accepting a gift from somebody and showing them joy for being able to appreciate you. So it's the topic tonight. And I hope tonight's conversation brought you joy and just uplifted you to realize that you're not alone if you feel that you choose to do for you, where you choose to do things you want to do for yourself. Taking that trip when you turn 50 or 60 or whatever, even if it's by yourself, because that's what you want to do. Because like I said, for my 50th birthday, I went on a cruise with 3 girls I worked with because that's what I wanted to do. So I chose to do it. 55. I chose to go separately with everyone in my family. And yes, there were some things that I really wanted to do, but I sprained my ankle. I decided that wasn't the woe was me. That was a way for me just to say, you know what? You deserve to take a couple of days just to be. To have people come and cater to me. To do special things for me when people started hearing that I sprained my ankle. And that's what joy is about. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. And please start living your best life. Bring joy to your life. Do for yourself. Let go of the expectations. Give yourself gifts. Give yourself a great big hug every day, because no one's going to give you a better hug than yourself. And no one's going to bring more joy to you but you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Emotional Elevator Show. Sandee returns Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, start elevating your emotions and stop riding the emotional elevator that is stopping you from living the life you deserve.